Lonnie,
Yes.
I am dealing with one computer screen and I'm not totally sure that I'm going to be able to bring up my presentation. Do you have it available?
Yes, I will take a look in the folder and I will get it ready to share if you're having issues.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Good morning, everyone. It's 10:30. I am Sherry Meads, your zoning administrator, and I would like to call to order the October 6th meeting of the zoning administrator. Pursuant to Assembly Bill AB 361 and Sonoma County Health Officer recommendation, the zoning administrator is facilitating this meeting via Zoom. Members of the public can participate virtually at www.zoom.us/join or by calling toll-free 877-853-5257 and entering meeting ID number 868-2190-2494. This meeting is also being live streamed at https://www.youtube.com/City of Santa Rosa. Public comment on non-agenda items and agenda items will be allowed during this meeting. Additional information related to meeting participation is available at www.srcity.org/zoning admin. So we're now going to open up a public comment period for any items that are not listed on today's agenda. There will be a public comment period after each of the scheduled items are heard. So this public comment period is for anything that is within the zoning administrator's purview that is not on today's agenda. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak, and Recording Secretary Buckheit will explain how that all works.
If you wish to make a comment, please raise your hand by selecting the raise hand icon on your screen. If you're calling in, please press *9 to raise your hand. Zoning Administrator Meads, we don't have any hands raised at this time.
Excellent. Then let's move on to item 3 on the agenda, which is zoning administrator business. This includes the zoning administrator statement of purpose, which I'll read to you all right now. The zoning administrator is appointed by the Planning and Economic Development Director and has the authority to conduct public meetings and hearings and to take action on applications for minor discretionary projects. Any determination or decision by the zoning administrator may be appealed to the Design Review Board, Cultural Heritage Board, Planning Commission, or City Council as applicable to the decision. There are no zoning administrator reports or consent items today, so I'll skip to item 5 on the agenda, which is our regularly scheduled items. Item 5.1 is a minor conditional use permit to allow self-storage and multifamily use at 311 and 319 Santa Rosa Avenue. City file CUP 21-050, and our presenting planner is Senior Planner Murray.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to ask that Lonnie, you're the best. I'm on a single screen today and wasn't sure how to get my presentation up. So the presentation before you, or the project before you, is, as you said, it's a minor conditional use permit for storage and multifamily housing located at 3111 and 3119 Santa Rosa Avenue. The name of the project is the Avenue 3111 Storage and Housing. Next slide, please. When constructed, the 48 units that are proposed as the multifamily component will equate to or provide 1.8% of the RHNA requirements, or the Regional Housing Needs Allocation requirements for our area. Next slide, please. The project proposes to construct, I believe it's three-story structures that will provide 48 dwelling units. These are market rate, and they'll be comprised of 1 and 2 bedroom units, and then six structures for self-storage, 5 of which will be single story along the periphery of the property, and then 1 2-story structure in the center, which really lends itself to providing some buffering from noise from Highway 101, and then reciprocating by the residential unit will block the view of the taller storage unit from Santa Rosa Avenue. The required entitlements or land use permits are the design review, which was granted by the Design Review Board on September 15th, and a minor conditional use permit that is before the zoning administrator this morning. Next slide. Here's an aerial view of the site. It's been used for several years. I don't know how many, as kind of a storage area, I suppose, for some trailers and whatnot, and then cars park in that little area along Santa Rosa Avenue on the right side of the screen. If you can just advance one more, Lonnie. This is a street view that I took a few weeks ago, so it gives you a pretty good idea of what the site looks like now. Next slide. Again, an aerial view, and Lonnie, if you can just advance one more time to give you an idea of the neighborhood context. It's primarily commercial to the north, residential to the east, residential and commercial to the south, and residential and commercial across Highway 101 to the west. Next slide, please. Project has quite a history. It came in back in 2007. At that time, the property was within the county. We had a development review meeting. At that point, they were just considering, the applicant was considering strictly storage. After some discussions with staff, they decided to include a residential component and 48 very welcome units. We had our first neighborhood meeting back in November of 2019. At that point, we were talking about just the annexation portion. We wanted to separate the annexation portion from the development portion so that we would, so it wouldn't be confusing to neighbors. So that first neighborhood meeting, the only people that showed up were neighbors who were interested in participating in the annexation and were included in the pre-zoning process with the city prior to it going to LAFCO for annexation. And then in January the following year, 2020, we held the second neighborhood meeting to talk about the actual development of housing at that point and storage. On May 28th, the Planning Commission made a recommendation for pre-zoning. The City Council approved it in September of 2020, and the property has since, both properties have since been annexed. In March of 2021, we received the formal applications. And as I previously mentioned, in last month, a couple of weeks ago, the Design Review Board granted design review. Next slide, please. The site is located in an area that's designated as retail and business services on the general plan land use diagram. Lonnie, if you can just fast forward one more. Thank you. And it's shown by the periwinkle star. It is surrounded to the north and south by, well, as we already talked about, residential or commercial and residential uses, which are consistent with their land use designations for the most part. Across Santa Rosa Avenue, there are commercial uses where, when developed more, will likely come in with residential or at least residential components. Next slide, please. Well, I guess I didn't mention that it is zoned consistent with the general plan land use, CG, general commercial. So, oops. Anyways, the general plan, we find the general plan, design guidelines, and some of our specific plans have a lot of overlap in their goals and policies. So I just cherry picked a few. And first and foremost, the project will meet the needs of Santa Rosa residents, as again, it is providing 48 residential units. It promotes mixed use sites, and it's at least this planner's opinion that it separates. It puts a commercial use adjacent to the freeway, separating residential use from the freeway, which makes a real good combo for that site. It enhances and strengthens the visual quality of major entry routes into the city. Santa Rosa Avenue is an arterial that's a direct feeder right into our downtown. This is not that close to the downtown, but what you saw in the photograph previously for existing conditions and what will be constructed, housing with landscaping, and the commercial use, the storage use, which it also has, I believe, a 25-foot landscaping buffer between Santa Rosa Avenue and the facility. So it will definitely beautify that area. So next slide, please. The project was reviewed in compliance with the zoning code for development standards, including lot coverage, building height, outdoor lighting, vision triangles, parking, et cetera, et cetera. So, and all of that is mentioned also in the resolution. Next slide, please. Here's the landscaping plan. It's very, very high level, I'll say. You can see the landscaped areas, the green areas around the periphery of the site, which will shield the single level storage building, or decorated, I should say, provide a buffer as well. And then as you can see on the right side, which is where Santa Rosa Avenue is, there is that landscaped area before the buildings, the self-storage structures, separating self-storage structures from Santa Rosa Avenue. The circulation here, they have two access points off Santa Rosa Avenue. The northernmost is, gosh, I don't have my pointer, but the northernmost provides access to the storage facility. And the storage facility on that property meets its parking requirements independent of the residential parking. Likewise, the residential parking that's in the lower left-hand corner of the project site has adequate parking as well in compliance with the zoning code, which is something that we don't see as much of these days with some of the concessions that are allowed through the affordable housing components. I also want to point out that right now, if you look at the property, you can see that that lower right-hand corner is a much smaller parcel than the larger 3111 parcel. This project does require a lot line adjustment to make that lower left parcel larger for the residential uses. So next slide, please, Lonnie. So during staff review, we encountered a big hurdle. It was compliance with the stormwater permit. After going back into and doing some engineering work and what have you, the project is found in compliance with our permit, and there are no unresolved issues. I'm very happy to report. Next slide, please. We did receive some comments. One of the comments was the site is contaminated and housing should not be allowed. When the applicant conducted their phase 1 environmental, they learned that there had been a gas station there many moons ago, and some fuel tanks were removed approximately 70 years ago. It was recommended that they conduct a phase 2, which they did. The property has been monitored over an extensive period of time, and they have since received a clean bill of health from the water board, which is fantastic. Neighboring properties, I already mentioned this during the annexation process. Some neighbors jumped onto the pre-zoning, which worked in their benefit for sure. So next slide, please. There are 6 required findings for conditional use permits, all of which have been demonstrated can be met on the draft resolution. Next slide. Whoops, one back. In terms of the environmental, California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, the project has been found in compliance as infill development pursuant to CEQA guideline sections 15332. It's consistent with the general plan and the zoning designation. The project occurs on a site that's less than 5 acres within city limits. It's surrounded by developed area. The project site has no value as habitat for endangered, rare, or other species, threatened species, or any other species as in its current condition. Approval of the project would not result in any significant effects relating to traffic, noise, air quality, or water quality, and the site can be served adequately by all public utilities and services. Again, it's in a fully developed area where those services are available. And next slide, please. So with that, it is recommended by the Planning and Economic Development Department that the zoning administrator approve a minor conditional use permit for Avenue 3111 Storage and Housing Project located at 3111 and 3119 Santa Rosa Avenue. And for anybody that might be calling in, my name is Susie Murray. If you have any project or any questions relating to the project, you are welcome to call me. I'm technically out on vacation until next Tuesday, so if you could be patient and wait for me to respond to you, then that would be great. You can reach me at 707-543-4348 or by email at smurray@srcity.org. And that concludes my presentation. The applicant team is available for comments or questions if you have any that I can't answer, and but they will not be doing a presentation.
Great. Thank you, Planner Marie. So before I get into any questions and comments I may have, let's go ahead and open up this item for public comment. And our recording secretary, Buckheit, will again explain how to participate if you would like.
Give me 1 second here.
Of course.
Okay. So if you wish to make a public comment, please raise your hand by selecting the raise hand icon. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Zoning Administrator Meads, I don't see any hands raised at this time.
Great. So let's go ahead and close public comment on this item. I think this is a great project. I think it's it's a great use of the site. I love the fact that instead of just doing storage, they've decided to include housing, which we need so desperately. And it looks like it's going to look nice, which is a benefit. I do have one. I was reviewing the resolution and I noticed that we usually post request that they post a sign on site where people can reach out to the developer if they need to regarding any issues with project development. I'm wondering if, Susie, you could craft some language and just add that condition to the resolution.
I can, and I reached out to the applicant this morning and confirmed that that condition can be added. That's something, it's a boilerplate condition for me, and I overlooked it this time. So that's my bad, and it will be added, and the applicant has accepted that.
That's great. Design review approval has already happened. So this is just addressing the uses, which are great for the site. And so with that change to the resolution, I will be happy to sign this as an approved project. Thank you very much.
I think there was also a typo in there about mixed instead of Mike.
There is. So I should probably call out that in one of the findings, I'm sure on your behalf auto-corrected, and it states mixed up development. And so we will be changing that in the resolution to mixed use, which was implied and relatively obvious, but we should go ahead and correct it when we have the chance.
It will be corrected. I'll get that done after the meeting.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Excellent. Well, then let's move on to item 5.2, which is a landmark alteration permit for 1118 Monroe Court, City File LMA 22-012, and our presenting planner is Christian Candelaria. Welcome, Christian. Take it away.
Good morning, Zoning Administrator Meads. Let me share my screen now. Can you see it? Okay, so this is for the Monroe House additions for a minor landmark alteration permit, and this is at 1118 Monroe Court. This will be a minor landmark alteration to allow the applicant to construct a 293 square foot addition for an extended bedroom with a bathroom, closet, and a new window, and a 16 square foot addition for a laundry room at the side of the single family dwelling. This is a total of 309 square feet, and the project encroaches the rear yard setback by 20 square feet. Due to the irregularity of the easterly property boundary, the project will be going 2 feet into the northerly rear setback and 10 feet into the easterly rear setback. This is for neighborhood contexts. It's zoned as PD 0226 in the historic combining district, and its general plan land use designation is low density residential, and it's also located in the McDonald Avenue Preservation District. This is a close-up of the parcel. You can see the irregularity in the parcel boundary on the eastern side. And these are some photos of the house. You can see that on the left photo, that will be where the proposed laundry room will be added. And then on the bottom right is where they'll be doing the bedroom addition. Next is the site plan. This shows more clearly where the proposed reduction of the rear yard setback is located. The proposed reduction of the rear yard setback is 20 square feet. The home is proposed to go into the setback as architectural design does not normally create a structure that would push inward 2 feet for a portion of the home designed for a bedroom. If the home were to follow normal setback standards, it would clearly show it as an addition and is not part of the home. Having a different design that follows the 20 square foot setback would create a design that is not part of the historic neighborhood style. The reduced setback allows for adequately sized bathroom inside the proposed addition. I will also show more plans for the interior. This is for the existing and demo floor plan. This is not part of the landmark alteration, but it does provide additional context of why some of the things are being proposed. And the internal changes will be a part of their building permit application. This shows the brand new floor plan, and you can see where the bathroom is located that goes into the setback and all the other changes. Here you can see the elevations of the property. The north elevations show the location of the proposed laundry addition and its new window, as well as a portion of the larger addition. The partial south and east elevations show other portions of the new bedroom addition that is going into the setback. Here are additional photos of the proposed location. You can see where the addition is being added onto the property, as well as seeing it in the rendering on the right side. Here you'll be able to see how the proposed addition will be keeping with the historic style and materials. This is required for any exterior changes to a building and historic district. The addition will be keeping with the historic style of the existing home and historic neighborhood. This is clearly shown for the style and material shown for the roof, walls, and the windows. For this particular project, it had to follow 2 required findings that are specific to the historic combining district. Those 2 are listed on the bottom, and I'm going to go over it more clearly in the next slide. These are the 2 specific findings that had to be found in order to go into the setback. The proposed project's reduced setback will not significantly impair the residential privacy of the proposed structures or any adjacent existing or anticipated residential structures. The addition does not abut any adjacent properties' residential structures, which was found. And then for the next one, it needs to enhance and protect the historic development pattern of the preservation district. The proposed project is keeping with the historic style and materials of the existing structure and part of the historic neighborhood. The historic combining district specifically allows for these reduced setbacks if they follow these 2 specific standards, and this parcel is structured in a way that creates an irregularly shaped rear setback, which is why we were looking for these findings. As stated before, the proposed reduction of the rear yard setback facilitates a superior project as the exterior architectural design would be matching with normal architectural design standards and the historic design of the neighborhood. Following the current setbacks would create a design that would clearly indicate a change in the historic design and would not follow the historic neighborhood style. If the home were to follow normal setback standards, it would clearly show as an addition and not part of the home's original current design. This project was also been reviewed in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act and qualifies for a Class 1 exemption under CEQA Guidelines Section 15301, subsection E, and that the new proposed addition is a minor alteration of an existing private structure, and then as an addition, it is negligible and does not result in an increase of more than 2,500 square feet or 50% of the floor area. There have been no public comments or issues with this project at this time, and it is recommended by the Planning and Economic Development Department that the zoning administrator by resolution approve a minor landmark alteration permit to allow 309 square feet in additions for a master bedroom and a laundry room at 1118 Monroe Court. If you have any questions, my name is Christian Candelaria, and you can reach my phone number here listed or my email. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that presentation. It's a great project. It's beautiful. I totally understand why they're doing it. I appreciate how thorough you were with explaining the findings and how this project definitely meets them. I can agree with that. So let's go ahead and open public comment and see if there are any questions from our public. Recording Secretary
Again.
Buckheit, can you mention again how to access the raise hand and I think it's *9 on the phone?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, it takes me a second to reorient myself into this next phase. So with that being said, if you wish to make a public comment, please raise your hand by pressing the icon at the bottom of your screen. If you're calling in, please press *9 to raise your hand. Zoning Administrator Meads, I do not see any hands raised at this time.
Great. So let's go ahead and close the public comment period then. So the only thing that I would request for this project, and we do this on most all, if not all, residential projects, is that we change the approved construction hours to 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
Yes.
Just being respectful to the neighbors who live nearby, and hopefully this is, I mean, a quick project anyways, but I just am hoping that that would be an acceptable condition. So with that condition, I would be able to approve this and sign the amended resolution. I do want to note that this action is final unless an appeal is filed with the department, meaning with your project planner, within 10 calendar days of today's decision, which is Monday, October 17th, 2022. And that is the same for each of these projects. Each of these projects is subject to appeal within 10 days. So for example, for the previous project, if you were wishing to appeal that decision, you would reach out to the department or Senior Planner Murray prior to Monday, October 17th, 2022. So thank you very much.
Yes, I can update the resolution with the proposed condition for construction.
Great, excellent. And I'll be happy to sign it when you send it over.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to item 5.3, which is minor design review for a facade update at 2705 Santa Rosa Avenue. City file is DR 22-036, and our presenting planner is Suchnor Bisla. Take it away.
Good morning, Zoning Administrator Meads. Let me share my screen. Do you see the presentation?
Not quite yet.
Okay. How about, oh,
go ahead.
Sorry.
Yes, there it is. I was going to just suggest we could take a recess if you needed to, but you've got it right there. Excellent. We can see it just fine.
So this is an application for a minor design review for the Total Wine facade update at 2705 Santa Rosa Avenue. A quick project description. This is an update to the existing facade and storefront design for the Total Wine and More, including metal panel siding, exterior insulation and finishing systems, and architectural features. This is the location of the parcel. And here is a zoomed out aerial view. The general plan land use designation for this site is retail and business services, and it is zoned general commercial. So here is an example of the plans. As you can see, the top one is the existing facade and the bottom one is the proposed facade update. So they are narrowing down the metal siding and extending it above the existing roof line, as well as adding some more windows to the side and elongating the existing window as well. And this is the color plans. The proposed development meets the height requirements, or sorry, the height limits as laid out in the zoning code. And here are some of the neighboring structures. This is the REI right next door. And this is the Mod Pizza just across the parking lot. So as you can see, the proposed facade is architecturally compatible with others in the plaza as well. And with that, planning staff is able to make the required findings for minor design review. This project is categorically exempt as it involves minor modifications to an existing structure. And there are no unresolved issues as a result of staff review, and we have not received any public comment on this. Therefore, it is recommended by the Planning and Economic Development Department that the zoning administrator approve a minor design review to allow the total wine facade update at 2705 Santa Rosa Avenue. For any questions or comments, this is my contact info, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Planner Bisla. So the applicant is available for questions, but does not have a presentation. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, then let's go ahead and open up public comment for this item. If anybody wishes to share, Recording Secretary Buckheit will provide the information you need to do so.
If you wish to make a public comment, please raise your hand by pressing the hand icon at the bottom of your screen. If you're calling in, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Zoning Administrator Meads, there are no hands raised at this time.
Great, let's go ahead and close the public comment period for this item. I do have a couple of questions. I have visited that site many times when it was a former Toys R Us, and it did not look good at that time. So I appreciate the improvements that will be made here to for this use, but I do have a couple of questions of ways that possibly, you know, we could improve it more so. I'm wondering if the applicant can provide information about the landscaping that's provided in front of the store. There appear to be a couple of trees. Further in either direction, there are some nice, you know, landscape buckets, I guess you would call them, ceramic or cement things where plants are included. The facades that Planner Bisla showed were very attractive, and I'm wondering if we could include some of those elements in this project. Yeah, so I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that.
Yes, are you able to hear me? Zoning Administrator Meads, thank you, Planner Bisla. I really appreciate both your help here and for having us. My name is Michael McFadden. I'm representing Total Wine here today. I know exactly what you're talking about. I see it. I guess to start with, we're not opposed to any landscaping. The area that we actually can incorporate that is pretty limited. The sidewalk area there is not particularly wide, and we don't have the facade all the way to the end of the structure. We have about 103 feet, and we are one of at least 2, possibly 3, I'm not sure what the adjacent tenant is working on, design reviews happening here. I do know the property owner's design review has already been approved. And whatever everyone else is doing, we definitely want it to match. Everybody benefits from having a cohesive storefront. Currently, we have one bench. We have one of those self-contained surface planters. I also could not figure out what to call them. I was Googling. Bucket's a good way to, yeah, exactly. And we have one integrated planter that is built into the sidewalk with a tree and I believe some surrounding shrubbery. Our permit itself does not currently involve any modifications to existing impervious surfaces. So if there's a way we can work within those constraints to make the entire storefront, the collective storefront match, we're absolutely all for it. And would love to have a conversation about that.
Excellent. So Planner Bisla, could you add a condition that represents just that, that this would be your over-the-counter approval for anything related to updating the zone, the landscaping to, coincide with the rest of the groups and just be consistent, because we want it to be an attractive site. And I so appreciate the applicant recognizing that and being open to that condition. The other question is, this is just, we don't regulate color. So I am just actually curious, first of all, is this the typical color palette for your retail operation?
Essentially, yes. It
You
does.
don't have to say any more. If that's yes,
Okay.
then let's go with that. That's
Yes.
perfectly fine. I was kind of curious myself because I noticed it going far more earth tone and warm, whereas some of the other sites were more cool toned and like my hair, if you will. So I was just curious how you came up with that, but it's your typical, and that's totally fine. There will have to be a condition added that those trash cans that are there now, those stone round ones, will have to have covered trash, compost, and recycling available for customers. That's just a standard thing we need nowadays. So I'm hoping that would be an acceptable condition. Let's verify that. And if so, we can just have Planner Bisla add those conditions, and I'll be happy to sign an amended resolution. But are you okay with those conditions?
Yeah, I have no objections. I am curious about what kind of installment the covered trash and compost would be. Are those sort of the metal bins that are color matched so they're not so intrusive?
That's absolutely fine. You can work with Planner Bisla on
Okay.
that. Anything that'll be an over-the-counter thing does not have to come back. I don't need to see it again. We just need to make sure that there's something there. So you can work with her on that.
Okay.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Excellent. Then I'll be happy to sign that and look forward to seeing the transformation of that building that needs it so badly. Again, this action is final, and unless an appeal is filed with the department, work with Planner Bisla on that within 10 calendar days of today's decision, which is Monday, October 17th, 2022. So thank you, Planner Bisla and applicant team.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's move on to item 5.4, our last item of the day, which is a use permit for a fence at 2021 Illinois Avenue, City Files CE 19-1008 and CUP 21-032. Our presenting planner is once again Sachnor Bisla.
Hello again. Let me share my screen. Are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is a minor conditional use application for a residential fence at 2021 Illinois Avenue. The proposed project is to legalize a fence that was constructed without permits. The fence consists of 36 inches of solid fence with a hog wire / lattice panel on top that makes for an additional 26 3/4 inches. This is the location on Illinois Avenue. And here is a zoomed out aerial view. It is right off of Steel Lane and 101. The general plan land use designation for this is low density residential, and it is in the R16 zoning district. Here are some pictures of what they have up at this location. Planning staff is able to make all the required findings as a fence up to 3 feet is allowed in the front setback. And for the additional height, the proposed project is to keep the kids and pets safe. So there is a purpose to the fence. And to meet the required findings, I have proposed some conditions of approval, one of which is to replace that panel labeled A to match the rest of the fence that has the transparency above 3 feet, and to remove the stake labeled B, and then to cut down the stake labeled C to meet the height of the fence. That way there will be complete visibility in the vision triangle above 3 feet. The project is categorically exempt as it involves the construction of an accessory structure. No public comment has been received on this, and note there were no unresolved issues as a result of staff review. Therefore, it is recommended by the Planning and Economic Development Department that the zoning administrator approve a minor conditional use permit to legalize the fence at 2021 Illinois Avenue. Once again, here is my contact information if you have any questions or concerns, and I will stop sharing my screen now. Thank you.
Great. Does the applicant have any comments or anything to say? It's totally okay if not. I just want to give them an opportunity.
I'm not sure if the applicant is here.
Okay, that's totally fine. They don't have to be. That's perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and open up public comment for this item. And if our recording secretary could once again provide the information on how to participate, I would appreciate it.
If you wish to make a comment, please raise your hand by selecting the raise hand icon at the bottom of your screen. If you're dialing in via telephone, please press *9 to raise your hand. Okay. Zoning Administrator Means, I do see a hand raised. Julian Garcia, I'm going to give you permissions to speak. So can you please accept my prompt?
Mute. Okay. Shh. Hello.
Hi, we can hear you.
Okay. I have only one concern about the fence, and is that on the side of the house there's no fence that divides the front of the house to the backyard, and they have a big dog, and that dog starts barking like around 6 a.m. and it's a little bit annoying. So my only concern is that they do something about the dog and keep it on the back part of their house, like maybe before 9 a.m., something like that. Because we have lived here more than 30 years and we never had any problems with any neighbors with their dogs. And it's only this. And I'm assuming they made this fence because of the dog, you know, like to keep the children and the pets safe. But, and I have talked to some of the other neighbors, and they say that they also get waking up early because of the dog. So I don't know if this is like related, if you guys can do something about it or not, but that's my only thing.
Well, thank you very much for providing that comment. I am actually not sure if I can do anything about a condition about allowing a dog. I believe you would have to get in contact with Sonoma County Animal Control. They are who handle nuisance barking and that type of thing. And I'm pretty sure they would consider 6 o'clock barking an issue. But unfortunately, I don't have the ability to condition that they can't have their dog in the front yard. That goes above and beyond my purview. So if you would like to get in contact with Planner Bisla after this meeting, I can give her that information, or she may already know how to access it, and we can provide that to you.
Sure.
You could also get in touch with our code enforcement department. So were you able to catch how to get in contact with the planner for this project? Because if not, we'll put that back up. And
the number, that's the 543-3223. I did try calling that number, but I keep getting their voicemail every time. Like I try all week, and I haven't talked to anybody because like I am not sure who should I be contacting, about this.
absolutely. And we want to be able to get those resources to you. So have you received those meetings, Planner B, those messages? Several of us have actually been out of town at a planning conference. So I apologize. I personally am behind on in voicemails and emails. I'm not going to speak for Planner Bisla, but she was also at the conference. So.
Okay, well, it could be an issue related to my phone, that maybe when they call me, something wrong with my phone. I'm not sure. Maybe they have tried calling me back, but like I say, I have no problems or issues with the fence. It's just the constant barking. Whether a car goes by, the dog will bark. A person walks by, the dog will bark. And because we're so close to the freeway, sometimes those noises will make the dog bark. And we're talking about when people are sleeping, 6, 7 a.m. or even on a Sunday morning, people want to get some rest, and it's just annoying.
So Planner Bisla, do you happen to know if you've received any of those messages and just not had a chance to get back in touch?
I too am behind on my emails and voicemails since returning, but I will definitely look into it.
So the other thing we could do, are you comfortable? And I apologize, is your name Julian?
No, that's my son's name, because
that's what I thought. So Ms. Garcia, is that right?
Yes, I'm Ms. Garcia. Yes.
Okay, Ms. Garcia, are you available to email?
Yes, I am.
Okay, or Planner Bisla, do you want to put up that slide again? Actually, it would be Lonnie. Put up the slide again with Planner Bisla's email contact information. Or Nora, were you sharing that? I guess that was you.
I was, but if Lonnie could stop sharing her screen, then I can okay, thank you.
There you go.
Are you able to see my contact info?
Is it the SBISLA?
Yes, right.
Santa Rosa City. Yes, I just took a picture of it.
Perfect. And that way we can email you the number for Sonoma County Animal Control and our Code Enforcement Department. Once you send her an email, we'll have your email address.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling. I appreciate your involvement here.
Okay,
very happy that you participated today. So given that I can't address, unfortunately, the one issue that has been raised for this project, I will be approving this project with the conditions that you have added, Planner Bisla, which I wholeheartedly agree with, and would have made the same requirements. So nice job.
Sorry to interrupt, Zoning Administrator Meads. Can you close the public comment period?
Yes. So closing public comment. Click. Okay. Now back to what I was saying. Sorry. I will be approving this project with the conditions that Planner Bisla has created. They are excellent conditions. I want to applaud her for that. And so I will sign that resolution. And I believe that is the end of our meeting today. So with that, did I mention appeals? No, I will mention once again, this action and all other actions taken in today's meeting is final unless an appeal is filed with the department and or reaching out to the project planner within 10 calendar days of today's decision, which would be Monday, October 17th, 2022. And with that, it concludes today's business, and the October 6th, 2022 zoning administrator is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.